On a quiet afternoon in the early days of his career, a young and ambitious Jeff Bezos found himself walking through the bustling streets of Seattle. Dressed in a simple sweater and worn-out jeans, he didn't look like someone who would one day become the world's richest man. But at that moment, he was just another entrepreneur with big dreams and little in his pockets. Jeff had been working tirelessly on his new venture, an online bookstore called Amazon. He had spent months convincing investors, building the website, and delivering books to early customers. With every dollar going into his fledgling company, there wasn't much left for luxuries. But today he decided to take a short break from his relentless work schedule. He had always dreamed of owning a luxury watch, not because he wanted to show off, but because it symbolized success to him. It was something he could look at during tough times and remind himself that hard work pays off. So when he passed by one of the city's most prestigious luxury stores, he decided to step inside. The store exuded elegance. Gleaming glass cases displayed designer watches, gold bracelets, and diamond-studded accessories. The floor was polished to perfection, and soft classical music played in the background. Jeff felt slightly out of place, but reminded himself that he had every right to be there. As he browsed the collection, a store manager in a sleek suit approached him. Her eyes scanned him from head to toe, noting his simple attire. She forced a tight-lipped smile. "Can I help you?" she asked, her tone dripping with condescension. "Yes, I'm interested in this watch," Jeff said, pointing to a modest but elegant timepiece. The manager raised an eyebrow. "That's quite expensive," she said. "Perhaps you'd like to see something more affordable." Jeff's face remained calm, but inside he felt a mix of embarrassment and frustration. He knew he didn't look the part of a wealthy customer, but he hadn't expected to be judged so openly. "No, thank you. I'd like to try this one," he said, maintaining his composure. The manager hesitated, clearly doubting his ability to afford the item. With a sigh, she unlocked the display case and handed him the watch. Jeff examined it carefully, appreciating its craftsmanship. As he considered making the purchase, the manager added, "Just so you know, we require payment up front for high-value items." Jeff knew what she was implying. She didn't think he could afford it. He handed the watch back with a polite smile. "Thank you for your time," he said before walking out of the store. As he stepped back onto the busy street, Jeff couldn't help but feel a sting of disappointment. Not because he hadn't bought the watch, but because of how he had been treated. It wasn't the first time someone had underestimated him, and he knew it wouldn't be the last. But instead of dwelling on the incident, he used it as motivation. He returned to his small office, where piles of books and computers filled the space, and threw himself back into work. He was determined to prove everyone wrong. Every night he worked late into the hours, fueled by a vision that few could see. His friends often asked him why he was so relentless, why he didn't take breaks like everyone else. Jeff's answer was always the same: "Because I'm building something that will change the world." As Amazon grew, so did Jeff's confidence. He knew that setbacks were only temporary, and every rejection he faced made him stronger. His team expanded, his operations became more efficient, and soon Amazon was not just an online bookstore, it was transforming into an e-commerce powerhouse. Investors who had once hesitated to back his vision now clamored for a chance to be part of his success. Jeff often reflected on those early days when he was just another unknown entrepreneur trying to make a mark. He remembered the sleepless nights, the countless rejections, and the moments of self-doubt. But each setback only strengthened his resolve. He knew that true success wasn't just about wealth. It was about perseverance, vision, and the courage to keep going when others doubted you. Years passed and Amazon grew beyond anyone's expectations. What started as a small online bookstore quickly expanded into a global e-commerce giant. Jeff Bezos became a household name, known for his relentless drive and visionary leadership. The same man who once couldn't afford a luxury watch was now one of the wealthiest individuals on the planet. One day, while visiting Seattle for a business meeting, Jeff found himself walking down the same street where that luxury store was located. He noticed it immediately: the gleaming storefront, the elegant displays. Nothing about the store had changed, but everything about him had. Out of curiosity, he decided to step inside. This time, he was dressed in a tailored suit, his polished shoes clicking softly against the marble floor. The store was just as pristine as he remembered, but there was one difference: the way people looked at him. Within moments, a different manager approached him, her demeanor respectful and eager. "Good afternoon, sir. How can I assist you today?" she asked with a warm smile. Jeff glanced around, taking in the opulent surroundings. He noticed the same watch he had once considered buying, still displayed in the same case. "I'd like to see that watch," he said, pointing to it. "Of course, sir," the manager said, quickly retrieving the timepiece. There was no hesitation this time, no condescension. Jeff examined the watch once more, remembering the day he had first held it. "It's a beautiful piece," he said. "I'll take it." "Excellent choice, sir. Would you like it gift-wrapped?" Jeff smiled. "No, thank you, but I do have one request." "Anything, sir?" "I'd like to speak to the previous manager. Is she still working here?" The current manager looked surprised, but nodded. "Yes, she's still with us. Let me call her for you." Moments later, the same manager who had once judged Jeff by his appearance walked out from the back room. She didn't recognize him at first, but as she approached, realization dawned on her face. "Hello," Jeff said, extending his hand. "It's been a long time." The manager hesitated before shaking his hand, clearly uncomfortable. "Yes, I remember," she said awkwardly. Jeff didn't dwell on the past. Instead, he said, "I came back to buy this watch. You were right, it is expensive, but I've worked hard, and now I can afford it." The manager flushed, unsure of how to respond. Jeff continued, "I hope this serves as a reminder that you should never judge someone by their appearance. You never know what they might become." With that, he completed the purchase and left the store. The watch on his wrist, a symbol not just of success, but of perseverance. As he stepped back onto the street, Jeff reflected on how far he had come. The incident that once stung now felt like a distant memory, a small part of a much larger journey. He knew there would always be people who doubted him, but he also knew that with hard work and determination, he could overcome any obstacle. And so, with a quiet sense of satisfaction, he walked away. This time, not as a struggling entrepreneur, but as a man who had proven the doubters wrong. Word of Jeff's visit quickly spread among the store staff. Some saw it as a lesson in humility, others as a testament to the power of perseverance. The manager who had once judged him found herself reflecting on her actions, realizing that a person's worth could never be measured by their appearance alone. Meanwhile, Jeff continued to build Amazon, turning it into one of the most influential companies in the world. His journey was far from over, new challenges awaited him, but the lessons he had learned in those early years remained etched in his mind. He knew what it was like to be underestimated, and he knew how to turn rejection into fuel for success. Years later, during a public interview, Jeff was asked about the key moments that shaped his career. He smiled thoughtfully before answering, "There was a time when I walked into a store, and they didn't think I belonged there. That day, I realized something important. Success isn't about where you start, it's about where you're going. And sometimes, the best motivation comes from proving people wrong." The audience erupted into applause, inspired by his words. Jeff had not only built a company that changed the way the world shopped, but also a legacy of perseverance, humility, and vision. And so, Jeff's story serves as a powerful reminder: never underestimate anyone. Today's underdog could be tomorrow's leader. And sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't anger, it's success. This story leaves us with a lesson. Always believe in yourself, even when others doubt you. Because with hard work, perseverance, and vision, you can turn rejection into the foundation of your greatest achievements. Through moments of doubt and instances of rejection, Jeff's journey teaches us that the road to success is never straightforward. It is paved with obstacles, misunderstandings, and moments of self-reflection. And yet, those who persevere often find themselves standing at the summit, not only having achieved their dreams, but having inspired countless others along the way.